Good morning, everybody. Hey, yesterday I posted some pictures. I was working on putting the truck on the scales. Y'all seen that, trying to set corner weights. Um, Check for parallel, what's called being checking parallel between the front and rear housing, and what's called the cross. Had several people send me messages and wanting to know a little better explanation of what I was doing. I didn't realize that posting those pictures would create so many questions. So I thought rather than trying to answer a bunch of private messages and stuff like that, I thought I'd just do another one of my little demonstrations for everybody, kind of give you an idea of what mainly mud racers and some people like myself that try to drag race a four-wheel drive, what we have to deal with, unlike a rear-wheel drive car. All the tube chassis cars that I've built, the two-wheel drive stuff, you don't have to contend with none of these dynamics in those cars. Naturally, you want the rear end housing straight in the car. It's got to be parallel with the chassis and all that, so that the car will track straight and all that. But when you run a four-wheel drive, it becomes a whole nother set of problems, especially when you run a four-wheel drive with two different size tires, which we've had a lot of people ask us, how do you do that? Because I can tell you from the years of experience of when we first started with this thing, we did run it with all the same size tires, the same gear ratios front and rear. That works good up until about 150 miles an hour. After you pass 150 miles an hour, that becomes a huge problem. That was actually what caused us to wreck the truck in Brainerd back in 2011. I believe it was April 2011. And we learned that because of the downforce, what little bit we do have on the front end, because it is a square body, that the front tire doesn't grow as much as the rear tire at a real high rate of speed. They tell you that radials don't grow, but they do grow. They just don't grow as much as the bias ply tires. So what happens is with the same gear ratio, the same tire size, is at some point in mile an hour, the rear tire gets taller than the front tire. And when that happens, you effectively get a taller gear ratio in the rear of the truck than you do the front of the truck, causes the rear of the truck to go faster than the front of the truck, makes the truck do 180, let's say a 90-degree turn at 170 miles an hour, which is not fun. Trust me, I was there, I done it. Don't want to do it again. So I made this little illustration. Y'all don't laugh at me. Check out my new race truck here. And here's the thing, guys. If you look, just imagine this being the race truck, not the lawnmower, but this is old set of tires off of it. So if that was perfectly square between these two boards and everything in a perfect world, now just imagine what would happen if it were like that and the front housing wasn't parallel with the rear housing. Now what you got is you got something that's trying to go around in a circle like a stock car rather than going straight down the racetrack. So that's why we check parallel between the front and rear housing, because all four of these tires now are hooked together mechanically because of the drivetrain. So unlike a rear wheel drive car, these four tires are in competition with one another, and you have to try to make them all get along as best you can. And the reason why we check cross is just imagine if the rear end was off to one side 3 or 4 inches and the front was off to the other side 3 or 4 inches. Now what you got is you got four tires running in two different lanes, two different paths. So when you do the burnout, which we all do, and then you back up, now the tires aren't going to be rolling in the same pattern on the racetrack. So the square you can get as far as cross is concerned, the better it is to keep all four tires running in the same groove. That's why cross is important. Parallel on the housings is what takes the crab walk out of it. And then once again, now with our stuff, yeah, we do run the front end a different gear ratio than the rear. We have to. The closer we've become trying to get to our goal, which is run 200 mile an hour, whether it's quarter mile, eighth mile, whatever, I really want to be the first person to ever go 200 in a four-wheel drive. And I think we're going to achieve that. Well, that comes with a lot of problems that nobody's ever encountered before. We're the only ones to encounter them because we're the only ones to ever go this fast in a four-wheel drive. So that's just kind of a little quick technical video for today to give you guys an idea of why you seen me doing all those measurements that I was doing yesterday. So that's it, guys. And we're ready to go. Still, like I said, the truck's ready. It's done, finished, ready to go racing. Well, it's ready to go testing, and then go racing. But we was going to go to SGMP. Things just didn't work out. We thought we was going to go there, be able to make some test passes. It just didn't work out for us. So we're currently looking for another track to go test at. And this heat is just so bad. I don't know if it's a good time for anybody to go testing as hot as it is. So that's it, guys. Well, I love y'all, and hope we'll see you at the racetrack here real soon. Y'all have a good day. Bye.